This is the transparent classic blue. And this pen is available in either gold or silver trims. And it's actually inspired by the Pantone Color of the Year. 2020 Pantone Color of the Year is classic blue. And this may be seeming like a little bit of a darker version of that blue, but since it's transparent or semi-translucent, I would say, it takes on like a different complexion, of course, wherever you put it. So if it's in a lighter environment, it's going to look a lot brighter than if it's in the dark here. So it's a pocket fountain pen. It's a pen that a lot of people tend to start out with or really enjoy as a starter or intermediate level pen, and it's such a great size for just throwing away in your bag or in your pocket. So you can just slide it in here. I gotta fish it out. It fills by ink cartridge, an international size ink cartridge. So you got one that comes in here, and you can see it in the barrel when you get the pen. And you could actually use it also with a Kaweco Sport converter that is a piston slide converter, which is sold separately, but you could purchase that if you prefer using bottled inks. Or what you could also do is you could silicone grease the threads here on the section and then eyedropper fill the entire barrel so that you could fill it completely with bottled ink and then use it for quite some time, inked with the whole entire barrel there. So just kind of give you a little side-by-side comparison here of what these look like. These are number 5 size stainless steel nibs. And Kaweco uses both Bach and Jowo as their nib provider. So these could be either or. But as looking at, let's say, the overall comments that we have from our last year's edition, which is the transparent turquoise, people are really happy with how these pens write, that they're pretty smooth. Their nib sizes range from extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and also double broad size, which was surprisingly a nib size that we didn't expect to have such a great response, but a lot of people like the double broad. I think it's pretty smooth and lays down a very thick and wet line. So just to post both of these here. So one of the other key identifying aspects of this pen is not only the fact that it's an exclusive and that this color doesn't exist in any other sport model, but it also has the gold spot logo on the side of the cap. So directly opposite the Kaweco Sport logo, you have the gold spot logo, which is a pretty neat addition of personalization to this pen. And of course, both of these have the Kaweco medallion that's on the top of the cap. And these also could be customized so that you could slide on a pocket clip. So it just makes your pen a little bit more unique to you, personalized for your own use. And I mean, for $25, it's a superb pen to add to any collection. If you have a bunch of sport pens already, you know what I mean by that. They come in a wide different variety of colors. And this one is just a beautiful, I love the way that this color looks. I'm a big fan of blue myself, so, and then the translucency of it and the depth of this color is just outstanding. They really did a great job with this, couldn't be happier. These are not numbered, but they are limited production, so we just launched them on the website today. The transparent turquoise from last year is still available in just, I think, extra fine and fine nib sizes, if I'm correct. So they are dwindling from last year's edition. So figure if this is not something that you're looking to buy right now, that it will probably still be available sometime in the future. However, you can't really guarantee what nib size or what trim style that you would like if you hold off until later on next year. For the giveaway. So we're going to give away one of these pens of your choice, nib size of your choice, trim style of your choice. I want you to answer in the chat box, what German city is Kaweco located? So what German city is Kaweco, is the factory, the main headquarters of Kaweco? Put it in the chat box or the comments, and we'll randomly pick somebody who does put the correct answer in there, and we'll contact you for one of these pens. So, next on our list, we have the colorful, yet clear, TWSBI VAX 700R Iris fountain pen. And this pen was actually released or announced a few weeks ago, and it's a special edition. It is a limited edition from TWSBI, so they're not planning on making a whole lot of these. So this is not a normal, regular, everyday model that they will have forever. It is just simply gorgeous. This pen has a rainbow metallic finish, not only on the metallic trims and the clip, but also on the nib, which is something you definitely don't see every day. This is a Jowo number 6 stainless steel nib, but what they did was it looks like they masked out the very tip of the shoulders and tines here, and they did that metallic treatment that almost kind of like that torched sort of look, where it's got a beautiful iridescent rainbow finish on it. And each pen is completely unique as far as like how these colors go. So this pen's got a lot of violet in the front and then green in the back, but that could vary based on the particular pen that you get. So quite unique to get one of these pens. And one of the key aspects of a VAC 700R, of course, is the vacuum filling system, which operates with this plunger. And it's a simple one-stroke mechanism, so just to fill it, you would use one hand, and then when you would press it all the way to the bottom, the ink shoots up into the barrel, and then it has a shut-off valve here, so that if you wanted to shut it off, for let's say if you're traveling, if you're going and changing air pressure or heat is definitely a factor in your environment, you could shut this shut-off valve all the way closed so that ink does not force its way through to the feed, and then when you need more ink, you could just unscrew the back end and then be able to write with it, because then ink would be able to be let into the feed again. And one of the things that give me plenty of pause about vacuum filler pens is that they tend to be quite difficult to clean. But what TWSBI did in the VAC 700R is that they made this design completely detachable. So not only could you remove the front grip section of this pen to access the barrel, but then you could also, using the wrench that comes with the VAC 700R, you could then disassemble this vac filling system and then get into the barrel that way too, to give it a perfect clean. So it's quite a beautifully designed pen, and aesthetically with these metallic rainbow finished trims, has certainly like leapt on my list of just pens that just really catch my eye, and just outstanding choice of metallic finishing that's on here. So and then also too is the nib size is available on this right now. We have extra fine, medium, broad, and a 1.1 millimeter stub. So this is a pen that if you see this and you're just blown away by it, definitely jump on it now, because it is probably not going to last very long, especially with the Fountain Pen Day holiday. It was just released today, so we're able to ship today. I apologize to anybody that had, let's say, placed an order earlier this week when we did receive them and we couldn't ship them, because we're obligated with an agreement with TWSBI not to ship these until today, so that everybody gets a fair chance, all the retailers get a fair chance in giving the pens to their customers all at the same time. So we are shipping these out starting today, and with that, you'll be able to get the nib size of your choice with this very limited edition. So I'm not sure exactly how many we have at the moment, and I'm not sure exactly how many, if we'll be able to get any more later, but jump on this if this is exciting to you. And wish I'll go to the next one. So the next edition we'll talk about here is the Sailor Pro Gear British Racing Green. So this is a Gold Spot exclusive. This is a limited edition, however it's not numbered, but this is a limited production that we will only have one production run of these guys. They are available in the slim model and the regular. So this is the Pro Gear Slim, Pro Gear Regular. What's the difference between these, Tom? Well, besides just a bit difference in size here, there is a difference under the hood with the 14 karat gold nib that's on the Slim, and then the 21 karat gold nib that's on the Pro Gear Regular. And the design of this pen we came up with, actually Chris, I think, when we were talking about different colors and everything, I know that Chris had mentioned British Racing Green as like a really nice color, and we couldn't have agreed more. We wanted to go with something that harkened back to the original start of British racing, and go for that deep emerald green and give it a little bit of extra, something else besides that to give it some more of a modern take on it. So we opted to go for the clear, transparent finial and the grip section, and also the finial on the cap here, and you'll see the Sailor Anchor logo, which looks pretty cool, set against that transparent green that's there. And we went also with the chrome, or not chrome, I'm sorry, with the rhodium trims, because this rhodium silver, it just really has a great vintage sort of look, especially with this thick cap band. It reminds you a lot of, let's say, like a vintage muscle car, or one of those old racing cars that you would see back in the early part of the 1900s. So this edition here, let's see, I'm just looking at my notes. Give me 1 second. So when it comes to these nibs, the Sailor Pro Gear nibs, like I mentioned, they're made out of gold, one being 14 karat, one being the 21s. And they are available in a wide array of different nib sizes. So you have a lot of different choices for your writing style. So you could go from the extra fine, which is like pretty much the finest thing you could find, other than, let's say, a platinum extra fine. It's such a very, very thin line. Has a lot of feedback, but you will probably find no fountain pen that gets a thinner, more concise and controlled line than a Sailor or a platinum extra fine. Then you have fine, a medium, broad, zoom, which is a completely different type of nib. It's almost like similar to, let's say, like a Naginata Togi, where it's got like the variations in line based on how you pitch the angle of the pen. And you have a music nib as well. So that music nib is more like a stub nib, where you get the thick line going with the downstroke and a thin horizontal stroke. They sell for $220 sale price for the Pro Gear Slim, and the Pro Gear Large is $312. And like I mentioned, these are limited production. They're not numbered, so they won't have particular numbers on them, but yet they will be limited in the fact that we just had made one run of these, and when they sell out, that's going to be it for them. Just like Sea Glass, just like Royal Amethyst, which we still have Royal Amethyst in stock, the 1911 Royal Amethyst that we released last year. So we still have those available in stock if you're interested. And what we're going to do is we're going to give away a Pro Gear Slim to you guys here on YouTube, if you can answer this question and throw it in the chat box or in the comments. So, what year did the British sailor gift Mr. Sakata, who is the founder of Sailor, the fountain pen that inspired him to start the Sailor Pen Company? So that's a little bit of a mouthful, so I'll repeat again. So in what year did the British sailor gift Mr. Sakata, the founder of Sailor, the fountain pen that inspired him to start the Sailor Pen Company? Throw it in the comments, throw it in the chat, and we'll randomly pick somebody who answers correctly to win a Pro Gear Slim. And also to inform you guys, if you're looking to buy the Pro Gear or a 1911 or a Rialo or a King of Pen, we have a special deal that's going on just this weekend for Fountain Pen Day. We are giving away Itoya Profolio Oasis notebooks. We have this lovely, brand new Itoya Profolio Summit notebook, which, if you look on the inside here, it looks a lot similar to the Oasis notebooks, but it's got quite a bit of a difference in terms of not only its overall size, but it also carries an index. So it has a nameplate, but it has an index here. It has the same sort of format where it's lined and it's dotted and grid at the same time, and it's got these little tick marks at the top here, so you could divide your page in half or by thirds, and then down here by quarters if you prefer. And then it also has page numbers too. So this is popular for using in, let's say, dot journaling or bullet journaling as they call it, and it's got a couple of page ribbon markers. And what we're doing is this weekend, the Summit Journal is being included as a free gift for when you purchase a Sailor Pro Gear Regular, a 1911 Large, a Rialo, King of Pen, any of the pens that come, any of the Sailor pens that come with a 21 karat gold nib. And for the 14 karat gold nibs, what we're going to do is we're going to give away an Itoya Profolio Oasis A5 size notebook, which is very similar to the Summit notebook, but it just doesn't have the page numbers, doesn't have such a high page count, but it still has this really quality Japanese paper. It has the same sort of grid lines slash dotted format that you see there. But when you go and you add any of these to your cart, go view cart, and then you'll see the notebook get added to your order for free. So definitely check that out. And next we have our section on Pilot. So Pilot's really exciting to talk about because a lot of people love Pilot. I love the fact that their entire range from, let's say, even the Metropolitans through the Falcon, through the 912, and the Vanishing Points are all made exceptionally high quality. And we have here a prime example here is the Vanishing Point 2020 limited edition. This is the Black Lynx. It is a retractable fountain pen. It has an 18 karat gold nib that's black ion plated, as you see here, and has a Con 40 converter. And what we could do is comes in medium point. It's the only point size that is offered in the Black Lynx limited edition. But if you do make a special request on your order notes, we will do our best to fulfill it because we do have replacement nib units that we sell separately that we can always swap it with. So this Vanishing Point is the 2020 limited edition. It has a guilloche glossy black barrel. So when you look at it really close, and even when you touch it, you have a different sort of half glossy, half textured sort of feeling. You have matte black trims, matte black clip, and the matte black little click mechanism that's here. And you also have the limited edition number is engraved on the middle band as well. It is limited to 2,020 pieces worldwide. So not very many of these are made each year. We're actually down to, I think, less than like 20 or 30 of them, if I'm not mistaken, so there's not a lot left to talk about here. But I did want to talk about this pen because it is one of the awesome releases of this year, brand new, almost brand new. It's been out for a few months now, and it comes in this really elaborate Pilot gift box that, if I could open it here just to show you really quick. It's far different than any other Pilot gift box because this is a limited edition we're talking about here. So it has the bed that the pen sits on that's here, and it also has the place for the cartridges come out, this little pull-out box that's right here too. So overall, a beautiful presentation. These pens are still being currently sold for $286. Limited quantities available. And I wanted to talk about this because then we have yet another new Pilot to talk about. And this is the Vanishing Point LS. So I want to bring a direct comparison, being that we have a black stealthy Vanishing Point and then we have a black stealthy Vanishing Point LS. And to talk about the differences of the new LS model versus the original Vanishing Point model. We could kind of see apples to apples here. The LS is just slightly a bit longer with the click mechanism. I think we have the clip is slightly longer as well. It's definitely a lot slimmer. One of the complaints that we often hear is that the clip is rather obtrusive to hold on the original Vanishing Point. Some people actually perform clipectomies to remove them. And the Vanishing Point LS seems to want to, provide the writer with a little bit more space so that the clip is not really much in the way. And this little design feature, which actually I'll show you in this model, because the center band is a lot different than the original Vanishing Point. I'll show you this is the chrome version with the blue lacquer. And this, they did like an engraved turbine style design. And apologies for like the little fibers that are on here, but you could see that there's a really nice intricate engraving that's done along that separation here. And if we just unscrew this, we'll access the same exact nib unit that would be in the Vanishing Point. So it's the same 18 karat gold nib unit, same Con 40 converter that's included there. so you could still use all of your original Vanishing Point nib units. And really one of the neat factors about this is the click mechanism. So in the original Vanishing Point, you have a click mechanism that, you know, makes that popping click sound. To many, I would assume that this sounds pretty satisfying, and it has a sort of, you know, ear-catching sort of sound. But with the new Vanishing Point LS, that's the click mechanism right there. And in order to release it, you twist this. You can actually twist it back and forth this way to lock it, and then unlock it to retract the nib. However, you could just prefer to just push it once this way. You can't actually push it to get it back out, so you do have to twist it to retract the nib that way. So it feels so cool. Like I'm not going to just kind of like embellish this, but like this is really the coolest retraction mechanism ever. Like, it is really neat, but is it really worth the additional cost of a Vanishing Point LS? I'll leave it up to you guys to determine that. But these pens really do feel like a nice step up from the original Vanishing Point collection. And they do carry, like, I feel like, a lot of luxury with them. But I mean, at the heart of it, we have the same exact nib, same exact delivery system as far as the ink is concerned with the Vanishing Point and the LS. So these Vanishing Point LS pens are on sale for $440. So like I mentioned, even considering that this is a limited edition for $286, the $440 is quite a significant increase in price there. But what you're getting with it is quite a unique click action mechanism that I like to fidget with quite a bit. So, but that's your Vanishing Point. And also too is what just came out recently, the Pilot Falcon. It's to round out our Pilot pens. This is the Pilot Falcon in the blue resin, and there's also a purple resin color. These are exclusive to the United States. Nowhere else in the world will you find these particular colors of the Pilot Falcon. And what really makes the Pilot Falcon unique is not really its style, because it's kind of just, you know, very regular, very, you know, traditional looking pen, flattened ends. You have a cap band that's split there and has like a nice little engraving on it. But what really is the calling card of the Falcon collection is the Falcon nib. And this nib, supremely unique amongst all pens. It has a softness to it that can be used to create a little bit of line variation with your writing, so that you could create those thin and thick swells when you write, let's say, Spencerian or copperplate, or even like just embellishing your own handwriting just a little bit. The converter that comes with it is also the Con 40. So you have the Con 40 converter in there. They do come in a variety of nib sizes. They have the extra fine, fine, medium, and broad. So if you're looking for probably the highest degree of line variation, I'll just kind of show you what you're looking for here. So what you would be doing is you would be pressing on the nib, but you would be pressing on just only the downstroke to spread the tines and create that line variation. I don't have any ink in it right now, but if I did, then you would be seeing some ribbons of ink on the paper. But if you want to get the highest degree of line variation, what you would want to do is you'd want to get, let's say, an extra fine or a fine. But they are available in medium and broad as well. So when you go with a medium or broad, they're going to start a little bit thicker, and then when you press down on it and you let the ink flow, it's going to get even thicker. So that just might be a little bit too much for some people. I know that I usually prefer like seeing a very hair thin line and then being able to bring it down and increase the thickness of the line just by virtue of the finger pressure. Very gentle finger pressure is all you need on it. So these are $179.95, and with any of the pilots that you see here, as well as a custom 74, custom 912, custom 823, Urushi custom, so many different lines that we have them all listed on the website. On our Fountain Pen Day page, you could get a free bottle of Pilot Iroshizuku ink, your choice, when you check out, So what you would do is you would add any of these pens that I just mentioned, 74s, 912, 92s. So you can add them to your cart, and then when you view your cart, that's when you'll be prompted to ask to add your bottle of ink. So you could add, let's say, yeah, any of the colors that we have currently in stock available. It will show you kind of like a listing of like your first, let's say, 5 or 6 of them, and then you could just kind of view the rest of them and see where you what color that you'd like. So, and then it would be added and discounted on the order. So this has been one of our most popular promotions, I think, this weekend so far, because people love pilot pens, and I do too. So perfect pen for many people to enjoy. And
Tom,
next,
if
yes.
people ask questions, do you want me to field them as we go, or is there a sort of a period of time for questions?
Well, we're gonna do like a formal Q&A, like after like showing all the pens.
Sure.
But if you want to just like ask something quick about particularly about something that we covered, then we could do that too at the same time.
All right, I'll keep an eye out then.
Okay, cool. So next one we have is from Esterbrook. So this is the Esterbrook Estie in the Maraschino Cherry. This is a special edition for 2020. It's kind of considered to be a fall edition, although I think with how beautifully red this color is, I would say that this is like a really nice, holiday, Christmas sort of pen as well. Especially you have gold trim on here. Looks very festive. These are fully acrylic pens, and this particular model is also available in silver trim as well. It has a number 6 size Yovo nib, and this is in the gold plated fashion. They are available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, or 1.1 millimeter stub, and they have it. These Esterbrook Esties have a cushion cap, which is kind of like one of their signature features. Is that when you cap the pen, you kind of have to press and close it and turn it at the same time so it catches. And this keeps the nib spectacularly fresh for the next time that you use the pen, because there's a cap that kind of rests on this whole nib unit right here, and that would prevent it from drying out. The Esterbrook Estie also, which I don't have right here at the moment, but it uses either the international cartridge or converter. What you'd be able to do as well with the Esties is you could remove the front section here, and you could replace it with an MV adapter, which is sold separately, and the MV adapter accepts any screw-in style Esterbrook vintage nib, which I thought was really cool of them to do. It bridges the past with the present, and just allows you an unparalleled amount of use with your stock of Esterbrook nibs if you do have them from your Esterbrook collection. Now that is the regular size Esterbrook Maraschino. We also have the oversized, and this is in the chrome trim. You can see this is a big pen. So has some really nice girth about it, and also slightly a little bit longer. Uses the same number 6 Yovo nib. Would be also able to exchange it with the MV adapter section if you please. I'll just attach the caps here. I think that this works best, I feel, cap posted, but this guy might be just a little too long. Yeah, I kind of feel like it doesn't really post that well with the cap, but it certainly does feel great in the hand when you write with it unposted, because it has a lot of that sizing on it. The color is just absolutely beautiful. It's this marbled acrylic that just the red just is so vibrant. It matches really well actually with the Esterbrook theme of their boxes and everything, and they also include a cloth that's in here too, which I think is pretty neat. A little polishing cloth here. So we have the cartridge. Not sure where we have the converters in here too, right? Yeah, there's the converter. See, we have the Esterbrook converter. It's just a standard international converter. So we have this, like I said, available in an oversized and a regular size model. I think Esterbrook said that they only made about like 800 of these, I think, correct? We had about like 800 of these in the United States.
We're almost sold out of these.
Yeah, I think we don't have very many of these left, but beautiful pens if for now or for the holidays, for a gift. It's just such a striking looking pen. And then we have This is the Esterbrook JR, which if you're not into larger pens, you prefer like a thinner, slimmer pen that's more in line of a pocket pen, then this JR is really in your wheelhouse. So the JR is manufactured not to spec, but it was inspired by the original Esterbrook J. It's a pen made in, I think it was the 1940s. I'm just looking at my notes. Let's see. Just bear with me a second. I'm just getting my notes out here. Yeah, so it was made in the originally made in the 1940s, and this, though, what they did was they originally were making it, I believe, out of like a plastic or a celluloid derivative, but these are made out of solid acrylic. The acrylic on these are just fantastic. They are pearlescent. They have a chatoyant cat's eye effect to the acrylic, and this is Capri Blue. There's two others. There's Carmine Red, which is a little bit less like flashy, but still is a nice, red color. And there's also the Tuxedo Black, which is really impressive. They didn't just go with a standard black; they went with a black that has also the same sort of chatoyance on it. The nib that they use on these are the nib that they have is the number 5 size Jowo stainless steel nib. It's available in the same range as the Estes with the extra fine, medium, broad, or 1.1 millimeter stub. The filling system is also the same as well, so it uses a cartridge or converter. And it is also boxed with an Esterbrook cloth. So a lot of people, like with that, the Esterbrook brand is a brand that has such a long history. Actually, it was originally based in Camden, New Jersey, way back in the day. That people compare this new 2018 and later brand with the original brand. And one of the things that everybody was excited for is they wanted to see an Esterbrook J. They wanted to see something that was inspired by a vintage pen. So instead of like offering what exactly the Esterbrook J was, which was like a lever filler, and it had it had different sort of sizing and different aspects about it, but what they did was they modernized it and they made it a pen that would be something that, let's say, an Esterbrook from the past would have made for today. So they went with a lot of the heritage of the and inspired by the design, but they kind of took it in a little bit of a different direction that I think is more fitting for today's times. So that's your Esterbrook JR, and with any Esterbrook pen, I'm trying to find it because I thought I brought it here somewhere. Yes, there it is. Okay, so with any Esterbrook pen this weekend for Fountain Pen Day, you are getting an Esterbrook brown pen sleeve for free. So add, let's say, an SD to your cart and view your cart, and this Esterbrook pen sleeve will be added with a discount that offsets the cost. So that's a value, I think, of $15, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a saddle brown. It's got some nice off stitching here, and it's got the Esterbrook logo is laser engraved on here, so it has a very nice, elegant look about it. This will keep your pens nice and safe.
We have a question from Ken who asks, what are the broad and stub nibs like on the Esterbrook Jr.?
Oh, so what essentially what it would be is they're like Jowo nibs are known to kind of just be great performers right out of the box. They'll have a nice flow, and they'll just kind of give a little bit of a hint of feedback. So when it comes to like a broad nib, that's going to give you the thickest, wettest line possible in the range of nibs, in the range of round nibs, that is, unless you went with, let's say, the 1.1 millimeter stub. So if you went with the stub, you're going to get some. I don't know why that was going on. For the, I'm just making sure. I don't know why my phone wasn't on silent. That's weird. Okay, so for the stub nib, the stub will give you that line variation. So it'll give you that thick downstroke, thin horizontal line, but it's not going to give it to you like in such a dramatic fashion because they want to make it smoother. So it does give you some great line variation, but it does provide a smooth writing experience as well. So if you're really concerned about smoothness and just a wet flow, go with a broader stub. If you want to get that additional line variation, go with the stub, definitely. I have a few stubs in Yovo myself, number 6 size usually, and they're fun to play with because you could get a really nice calligraphic look to your writing, but also show off a lot of the ink that you put on the paper. So the JRs fit pretty nicely in this case, but I don't think you can actually fit, or you can. I was seeing if I could fit the oversized, and it just peeks out just a little bit at the top here, but you can fit most of the oversized SD in the pen sleeve. So, like I said, these are being included free with the purchase of the any Esterbrook pen, SDs, JRs, or Camdens this weekend only. So, something to take a look at. And the next one we have on our list is the Colorverse Blue Moon. This is an exclusive ink that we are giving away, and I did not. Oh, no, I do have a question for that, but I'll just kind of talk about this really quick. This was a special collaboration with Colorverse from South Korea. It's a 30 milliliter bottle. It's inspired by what the color of the moon looks like in the daytime sky. So when you're looking outside in a clear blue sky and you see the moon hanging there in the haze, that's kind of the pale blue that we're going for. It shades really nicely. It has a light complexion, but it's not too undersaturated where it's hard to read. It's fairly easy to read on paper. Let's see what else I have here for that. Oh, so this is also limited quantity. It's not a limited edition. We could reorder these if the time comes if we need to. But with that being said, we have Aurora Borealis, which was last year's special edition Colorverse ink that we did. We only have 19 of those left, and I don't think we're planning on ordering any more of those. So that's something that if you were keeping your eye on that, and that's a mixable set actually. So that Solar Wind and Magnetosphere, that's part of the Aurora Borealis set. That is something that you can mix together, but unfortunately we don't have that many of them left. We will give away one of these bottles to someone who throws in the chat or in the comments the answer to this question. So when was the date of the last blue moon? When was the date of the last blue moon? Put it in the chat or the comments, and we will consider you. We'll randomly pick a winning answer out of the comments or the chat. So we'll put that here. Put that back.
Somebody's asking, what was the price for the junior?
Oh, the JR is $140. Okay. So we have $140 for the JR. We have the Esterbrook Estie, the regular size is $156 on sale, and the oversized is $200. So remember we were talking about the sparkle, and we were talking about like how the sparkles, like, was it about $395 I think retail. So this is the street price for the oversized is $200. That's including the discount, and of course, like I said, get the included Esterbrook pen sleeve. So we got the Colorverse Blue Moon. Next on our list, we're going to talk about a brand new manufacturer that we're proud to carry. This is Schon Design. These are made in Philadelphia. They are machined by Ian Schon and his team in the factory in Philadelphia. And we have two different designs here. We have the classic machined pen, which is the ballpoint pen. It screws open here. These are machined from solid aluminum. Well, this one is anyway. This one is actually out of brass, but he manufactures pens out of solid metal. Very minimalist sort of style. You have the screw cap here, screws on the back. It's a pocket pen, but as you see when I'm holding it here, it becomes a full-size pen when you screw the cap on the back. It has a bolted-on clip that actually has a function. This little lip here, as we'll show you in a quick tip video that is forthcoming, actually fits in this slotted this set screw that's here. So if I want to replace the refill, what I would do is I would use this clip to help get me started here. Maybe use it a little bit more. See, this is why we cut things, because this doesn't look so elegant as I'm trying to like unscrew this and not getting it right. There we go. So this set screw holds in a Fisher Space Pen refill. It's an SPR4 refill. These we sell plenty of at Goldspot. It's one of our most popular ballpoint refills that we sell. And for reasons that it writes in space. Although not many people actually do need to use it to write in space, but for the other characteristics, let's say high temperatures or extreme conditions, upside down. So like, let's say if you're in bed and you're writing a crossword or you're just journaling or whatever, you could write upwards like this and you won't have to worry about it running out of ink because it's pressurized. So the ink is continually being forced to the tip so that when you write with it, it will write anytime that the pen is making contact with paper. So this is the classic machined ballpoint pen. We have this in either the black aluminum or in just regular unfinished like silver aluminum. And then this is the Pocket 6. So this is the fountain pen that, you know what, I just realized I mentioned a ballpoint pen on Fountain Pen Day, so shame on me. But we had to talk about the whole brand together. So we're talking about the ballpoints, and now we're going to talk about the fountain pen. So this is the Pocket 6 fountain pen, as you saw with the ballpoint, the cap screws on the back. This does not have a clip, so it will roll away on you if you do let it on your desk and let it unattended there. It might end up rolling on the floor if you're not careful. But these use the number 6 size Yovo nib, and they are unbranded, so it just is a very plain Yovo nib. And it uses, well, there's no cartridge in here, but there's 2 that are included here. So it uses an international style ink cartridge. No converter that I know of will fit in this because it's a very small area here. Even if, let's say, you were to use the Kaweco Sport converter, you'd not be able to pull out the plunger all the way to ink up the converter. So it's a cartridge only pen, which for some people it's fine because then you could always refill the cartridge with bottled ink if you want to, or cartridges are just fun to plug and play anyway.
Could you repeat the brand name again?
This is Schon Design. So SCHON DSGN is the brand. They are brand new to Goldspot, so you'll actually see them up on the Goldspot website, Schon Design, and you'll see the available styles that the Pocket 6 is in. This is the brass model. It's got a really great weight. It literally feels like a writing instrument. Like, you say writing instruments apply to any of the pens on the table, but when you have something that's made out of brass, this feels like a writing instrument. And they also have a version that's in copper, which I'd like to talk about in a future pen video when it comes to antimicrobial pens to fight the coronavirus, because the brass and copper have natural antimicrobial properties that make them ideal for pens to use in a pandemic, because it's, let's say if you did touch something that had the coronavirus on it, you touched your pen, naturally the metal surface itself will kill bacteria, microbes on there just naturally, just over time. It's like, so if you just let your pen sit it for like a couple hours, let's say up to 4 hours, all of the bacteria, microbes on it will die. And you can't do that with, let's say, a plastic like a PMMA resin, because the viruses will live there much, much longer. But we'll talk about that at a different point in time, of course. So the ballpoints start at $78. So ballpoints start at $78. The fountain pens, which not this particular one, but the black aluminum version of the Pocket 6 fountain pen, starts at $118. So, and they do come in these very austere plastic cases. Has a quick instructional guide on it. But you're not here to buy the cases. You're here to buy the pens. That's what you enjoy the most about them, right? So next on our list we have the Opus 88 Jazz. So this Jazz fountain pen is one of Opus's newest additions to their lineup, and they come up with pretty much a new edition, I think, like every 6 months or so. This is a pretty big, hardy pen, I would say. It's kind of like a rounded off, like a more softer version of, let's say, the Demo, because the Demo would be roughly about the same size and thickness, but would have the flattened ends, so it has more of like an industrial look. This Jazz has more of like a classic fine pen sort of look. It has the black resin cap, section blind cap with chrome trims. And the key distinguishing factor about this is your translucent barrel, which comes in a variety of different colors, which I don't have the list of the colors here, but this is the blue one. So, but I do believe this also red. I think there's a purple as well. I think a green. You have to check out Gold Spot for me, just to make sure, because I'm forgetting all the different colors of this collection. But the main feature about Opus 88 pens is that they are eyedropper filling pens. These are inspired by vintage Japanese pens. They have an O-ring here at the section here, so you know that they're really meant to be eyedroppered. I would definitely recommend, because you kind of heard a little bit of a squeakiness as I unscrewed the grip section, so I might recommend putting some silicone grease on there when you do ink up this pen. But one of the features about this is that you've got a valve in here that you would bring down when you want to fill the pen.
Tom, Jonathan just joined us. Could you repeat what pen this is?
This is the Opus 88 Jazz. So this is the Jazz model, and this is the shutoff valve that it acts very similarly to what we looked at with the VAC 700R, or let's say the Custom 823, is that it is meant to stop the flow of ink just to prevent burping or any sort of leaking, because you've got a tremendous amount of ink in here. You have, I think it's over 3 milliliters of ink that could fit in here. So what would happen is if you would have any pressure changes or heat changes, you would want to make sure that the ink is not just going to get pushed out and forced out the nib. So in order to activate the reservoir and to get more ink into the pen, you would unscrew the blind cap here and allow the ink to then flow into the feed. And then let's say if you were on an airplane or taking a trip and you wanted to make sure the pen wasn't going to leak, then that's when you would close this guy up, and it would ensure that no ink would then be entering into the feed and then accidentally leak out the pen. These fountain pens use a Yovo number 6 size stainless steel nib, and it's available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, or 1.5 millimeter stub. And they sell for $125. And this weekend only, as for the Fountain Pen Day special, you can actually get a bottle of Robert Oster ink, your choice, added for free with the purchase of any Opus 88 pen. So this, the Jazz, the Demo, the Coloro, any of the pens that we have, the Opus 88 pens, you add it to your cart, view the cart, then the pop-up will show up with your selection of Robert Oster inks. You could pick which color you'd like, because these pens use a ton of ink. So it's great to get a brand new ink and then find one that matches. Find one that matches nicely with this. So that's our special for this weekend with Robert Oster and Opus 88. So yeah, we talked about all the pens that are available. We talked about items that we have that are for that have sales and special promotions. Now we're going to tease you a little bit with something that's not going to be available until probably next week. So this is our latest exclusive limited edition from Leonardo Officina Italiana. This is Bougainvillea Purple. So this is a brand new a resin that is not available to anyone else but Gold Spot Pens. It is a very beautiful purple acrylic that has white swirls that run throughout. It's very similar. The swirling is similar in motif to the Delfino. In terms of like when you kind of look at it, it's somewhat translucent and somewhat opaque at the same time. And if you peer through the various ribbons of those white whorls, it has sort of like this really cool optical effect. That it's just such a beautiful color. These are available in just a very small batch. We're going to get 30 of them next week. We don't even have them up on the website yet, so they'll be up pretty shortly next week.
Which model is it?
This is the Leonardo Momento Zero Bougainvillea Purple. So it's named after the flowering plant that's like a vine that runs in Positano. It's kind of known for as like one of the signature plants that you would kind of find on, let's say, the roadside, the countryside. They would be scaling up the walls of the houses and on the coast. And it's just a beautiful a tribute to this color. It has an international size ink converter, which is actually unique to Leonardo. It's got a metal grip section here, or metal what's you call turning knob that has the Leonardo Officina Italiana logo engraved on it. It can also accept international size ink cartridges if you like, and then you could access it normally as you would with any cartridge converter, or you could access it through the blind cap that's here. So you can actually turn the converter by unscrewing the blind cap there. The first initial batch will be available in rhodium trim, so you'll have the rhodium clip, the rhodium 3 rings, and the stainless steel nib. But we'll actually get the second batch that we'll get after next week will be made in rose gold. So that might be worth waiting for if you're more of a rose gold person, because I think that this looks great. As great as it looks here, I like the rose gold as well. And the nib sizes on these are number 6 size Bach stainless steel nibs. They are available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, or 1.1 millimeter stub. So not available on the website yet. Like I mentioned, $199 is what they'll be selling for. There will only be 65 total made between both the rhodium finish and the rose gold finish. So 65 total between both of them. So at this point, I would like to open it up if anybody has any questions, or if there's any questions, Chris or Kieran, that maybe you've read on there but you were holding back on that you'd want me to kind of field. You could open it up here and do like a little bit of Q&A. If there's not really any Q's, then I'll just skip the A's and then get to the next part. You know, we can kind of do that.
I got a lot of love on the new Leonardo.
Cool, cool.
And
Yeah.
somebody was concerned it was only 30, but you appeased that.
Yeah,
We
so
have 200 here.
one of the things that Salvatore did was I think yesterday or this morning, he shared an Instagram story of the packaging. So the packaging, it looks absolutely beautiful on this thing. So we had to mention it today.
Mikhail asks, is the giveaway worldwide?
All the things that we mentioned as far as what we're doing with the giveaways, it is going to be worldwide. So definitely don't be afraid of entering. So
Stephanie asks, what's the price point again on the Leonardo?
this is $199, so it'll be $199, and there won't be any 14 karat gold option. It'll just be the stainless steel option.
Right.
But yeah, I had to share it today. It's just such a nice pen, and we actually put this in our magazine. It's going to be in the pages of it. We don't have it in the rose gold version just yet because it hasn't been made just yet. So Salvatore is working on those. I'm also really excited about the primary manipulation from the collaboration with Jonathan Brooks and Leonardo. That's going to be coming later this month, and I'm personally going to be getting one of those pens. So it's a beautiful, beautiful collaboration they did. And I love the Brooks resin that he makes on there. Yes.
Spiffy Lils asks, do you have a favorite pen out of this bunch that you have today?
Out of the bunch here, I'm really, when I saw the TWSBI VAC 700, I went I actually made a sound, and I don't really even remember what that sound was. It was just kind of like, whoa, it was just like, whoa. I just made some sort of guttural, primal sound when I saw this pen. I was just blown away by it. In terms of its writing and everything, I mean, it's a number 6 size Yovo nib, which is very common to a lot of the pens that are laid out here. So I know what I'm going to expect when it comes to writing with this pen. Like I had mentioned when I was talking about this pen, I have a little bit of a troubled time cleaning VAC pens. I like kind of changing my inks out a little bit more. So although I really do love this pen, one of my favorites recently has been the Pro Gear regular, which I have the Cure Azure that I'm actually writing with today. So I really love the Pure, this one, you all like, okay. So that's the Cure Azure, of which we have the full set of the cocktail pens. I don't think we sold the last one in the medium point just yet, but the Cure Azure is just a beautiful, beautiful pen, and I really do enjoy the Pro Gear regulars size. its balance is just phenomenal, especially posted, and the writing ability of the nib is just outstanding. Like controlled, precise. It's smooth with just that little bit of like that tooth that you feel with a Sailor nib, and a lot of people who write with Sailor nibs will know what I'm talking about when I say this. It just has like that little bit of scritchiness that, it just feels great. It feels like writing with a very highly sharpened graphite pencil that will never get blunted on you. So as far as like writing wise and whatnot and style, I love this British Racing Green. It's such a nice pen, and the writing quality of the Pro Gear is just absolutely outstanding. Something far different than, let's say, your usual, like what's talking about like the Yovo nibs. Something far above and beyond that, which of course is indicative of its price point, but this is probably my favorite of the bunch here.
I'm getting two questions. One
Sure.
is, are we announcing the winners now? And two, are you going to be announcing the discount code soon?
Oh yeah, I will announce the discount code soon. The winners though, like we want to give people a little bit of time since we did this live, and we'll post this video on our YouTube channel. So we want to give some people time to throw in comments and put in the chats there and be able to enter in. So we'll pick the winners on Monday for the giveaway, and so then we'll move on to the discount code. So discount code, so this will be applicable to any pens that are in our clearance section. So head over to the clearance section of goldspot.com. There's like 400 different types of items on there. There's a lot of fountain pens on there, and use the promo code FPDAY. So F is in Frank, P is in Paul, D is in David, A is in Apple, Y is in Yellow, to get an extra 10% off the already discounted clearance prices of any clearance item that's in our clearance section. I hope I said clearance enough for you, because I want to make sure that you know that it's in the clearance section that you get 10% off of these off with this coupon code.
Bruce Bourne has the question, what brand was that notebook that you were discussing earlier?
So this notebook is the Itoya Profolio, and it is the Summit notebook. So this is brand new. This is the reason why you probably are unfamiliar with this, is that it's completely brand new. Just received them for this particular promotion with the Sailor pens, and it's really great for bullet journaling. It's got tons of pages on here. It's got, was it 200 and, yeah, it's over 200, it's 252 pages. It's a lot of pages. So it's a great notebook. It really, the only thing I could say about it that would kind of be a knock toward it is that it really doesn't have like a sturdy cover. It's a very flexible cover, although a lot of people might like that. But it's a beautiful Japanese paper that they use with these.
It's super fountain pen friendly. I
Yeah.
played with it. Yeah, awesome.
We have a question from Marie Lubin. But is the Pilot LS Vanishing Point limited in any?
No, it's
Okay.
considered, the Vanishing Point LS is considered to be a new regular edition. So it's not a limited edition like, let's say, the Black Lynx is, where it's only limited to 2,020 pieces. The LS is going to be here for for whatever time that Pilot deems. If I guess if this experiment of theirs works out, we may see new finishes, let's say in the coming years. If it's something that doesn't really seem to hit with customers, and it's a little bit too much, higher than the original Vanishing Point without really showing the value for it, then this might be the only run that we'll see. But I would tend to think with Pilot that they have a little bit more of a faith in their product engineering capabilities, and that they'll probably continue on with new finishes each year probably.
Here, and then real quick, Sharon L. wanted to see the Kaweco again real quick.
It's just a really handsome blue color. It goes pretty nicely with my my jacket today. Yeah, this you really can't mistake for a blue or a green. Like the other turquoise, the transparent turquoise, you could say like, oh, well, is it like, it's more like a green rather than turquoise. But this blue is a classic blue. This is a really nice, elegant blue color, very dark, rich. You want the
Oh,
sugar
sure.
one?
I'm getting a question from Jude Dune. What's Tom's favorite size between the two Esterbrooks?
Between the Esterbrook Esties. I would say I've written with extensively the regular size, so I would probably say this side because I also like posting my pens. So this I feel to me is comfortable writing with posted. I really can't see posting the oversized model, although it does feel pretty nice without posting it. But I usually do prefer pens that post just because like I'm always like I need to have my other hand free other than like holding a cap. You know, it's like so I don't know. It's just my own personal preference, but you know, both of them are really nice and feel great in the hand to write with, but I do prefer the regular size just because of the fact that it can post.
FOTYCC asks, is the Furore Grande Leonardo a Bach or Yovo nib?
Those are still Bachs. There's a lot of talk about the fact that Leonardo will change their nibs to Yovo in 2021. And I did talk briefly, I emailed Salvatore about this. So they will be changing them over. So like their Momento Zero and the Furores will be Yovo, but starting in 2021. It's going to be a changeover that will happen. I personally, I love the Bach nibs that are on Leonardo pens. The problem with them is that the quality control isn't like perfect. Like it does have a high variance of like, you know, issues with baby's bottom or skipping, hard starting, which are usually remedied by just a slight bit of like some tuning. So if you are familiar with tuning your own nibs or adjusting your own nibs, you could get a nib and basically be able to get it writing perfectly, just with a slight little bit of adjustment. But that's the reason why I think Leonardo is going to be switching over to Yovo, is because Yovo provides extremely consistent writing experience right out of the box without any sort of modification, adjustment. The manufacturers are happy because it doesn't, you know, require not nearly as much warranty or those pre-adjustment to send them out with the tuning and whatnot. So I have also known this from talking to Ian Schon, who, as you saw with the Schon design pens, like he chose Yovo over Bach because he's had personal experience with the products from Bach and them not coming out to being like perfectly, you know, as good quality control wise as the Yovo. But with any of the pens that we currently stock now, we're stocking them with the Bach nibs, except for the Messenger pens, which are the limited edition run that they did this year. Those do have Yovo nibs on them. But any of the Momento Zero, the Furore pens, they will have Bach nibs on them throughout the rest of the year. That being said, with the quality control and whatnot, I can always check your nibs. Like we always honor if anybody needs to have their nib checked prior to shipping. You could put a note in the comments and we do read them. So if you need it checked, we can do that. Or if you want them wet tested too, we could also do that as well, which means like dipping them in ink and writing with them and making sure that you know, you don't have those issues of baby's bottom or skipping or scratchiness and whatnot. So we do take care of you in that way. And then of course, if it does get received and you don't like how it writes, it's got problems with it or whatever, we're always willing to work with you guys to make sure you'll get something that you really enjoy. So
94 Maka 94 wants some insight into the getting a Sailor exclusive. Like, how was it for us? How was sort of the process?
Oh, sure,
How did it come to be?
So this is the British Racing Green is actually our third Sailor exclusive. So we're kind of old hands at this by now, although like we always encounter hiccups along the way. But it's interesting because because really with Sailor originally when we started to carry the brand, had a very, very conservative palette of colors. So you would have just basically black with gold trim, black with silver trim, blue maybe. You would have a few different other colors there, but like now that they've seen the success of their Japanese retailers selling these crazy editions like the Curazura and the Cocktail series, which have sparkle, they've got different colors and the finials and stuff like that. They've seen the explosion of color and they realize that there's potential in just kind of allowing like an expansion of the creativity and just saying like, well, this is what a Sailor pen could look like now, you know, and like really go crazy with the color. So In other past years, what we've done is essentially just said, like, let's just make the whole pen this one particular Pantone, and let's say the Pantone color will get the plastic chip, which is like a kind of like a little square, kind of looks like a tiny playing card, and that chip, it will have like 3 layers of opacity, so you'll see like a clear version of it, a more translucent, and a more opaque version. And you could then say like, well, I want the translucent on this part of the pen, I want the opaque on this part, I want the translucent on this part. And then you could say, you know, like, well, we could also do, let's say, a nib that's got bicolors. So you could customize these sailor pens in a lot of different ways. So we had to really sit down and think about what we wanted to do. It was going to be really, you know, interesting and exciting, yet tasteful and appealing to people who like a very professional looking pen. And that's where really what we sit down and sometimes talk about these pens, and we say like, you know, when we mock them up digitally sometimes and say like, okay, well, you know, what do we like as far as you know, color for this edition, like, or what theme do we want to go for, or is this blue more blue than this blue, or is this like green like more true to the British racing style than, like, let's say, picking a different Pantone color. So there's a lot of considerations there, and then also a lot of nerve-wracking times when, like, let's say you get a prototype and it doesn't come out exactly the way that you want it to. So you kind of have to go back and forth, and you know, all this takes a lot of time, and that's why we spend almost like an entire year coming up with and then executing a design like this, because you know, to produce hundreds of pens, especially if you're making them to this sort of quality level, it's not like it doesn't happen like overnight. So we have to really make sure that they're wonderful pens out of the box, and that it's a design that you guys will enjoy and that looks really good, you know, and be exemplary of the Sailor brand.
Janling Hu asks, in your estimation, do you think that the rainbow finish on the VAX 700R requires any particular care?
Well, I mean, nothing I would say out of the ordinary, and you know, with anything like, let's say, even looking at, let's say, the Fortuna, Monte Grappa made a Fortuna that was called the Blue Blazer, for example, and those pens, when they were shipping out, they would have an adverse reaction to ink that got on the section. So if you're familiar with those, they take a steel pen and they did like the fire blue treatment, so they torched it and they made it look like all sorts of crazy iridescent sort of colors. But what they did was, I don't think that they did the lacquering on it appropriately. So what would happen is, if ink got on the section, then the finish would start wearing away. But with some of these other pens that I've seen, like this particular, like the TWSBI VAX 700R, or let's say the Laban makes a 300, which is a skeleton type pen that has an iridescent metal finish. And with these iridescent metals, I think it's a little bit different in terms of, it's not the whole body of the pen, it's just the metal trim. So I would probably say, as long as you really just, you know, take care of it, and just like you would any normal pen, I wouldn't really worry too much about the material kind of like pitting or wearing off there. It looks like it's fairly solid, but it's one of those things where time will tell. You know, we don't know going from one edition to the next, you know, what the manufacturer does, like whether it's going to last long term. We hope that they took the proper time and investment in R&D and making sure that this will be a long-term sustainable sort of material. But you know, only time will tell on it. But I mean, from what I see here, it looks like it's a pretty solid plating that they put on here, and it doesn't look like it will you know, go away anytime soon. So I think about what time is it right now?
It's 5:49.
That's 5:49. Ooh, geez. So let's wrap it up. So I mentioned the special discount code. I will mention it again. It is FPDAY, FPDAY, and you'll get 10% off anything in our clearance section. So just particularly the clearance section, you'll get 10% off fountain pens, inks, lots of stuff. It's over 400 items in the clearance section. So you also want to check out our Fountain Pen Day post that's on our blog. So if you open up goldspot.com and you see the first main image that says Happy Fountain Day, hit that. You'll go to the Fountain Pen Day page, where you'll see there's a giveaway. There's also another place you can enter to win. 5 different winners will win a giveaway that's there too. So there's multiple ways to earn entries there, and then also too, as you can see all the promotions I talked about in this video. So also too, is I want to mention a giveaway that we're going to starting tomorrow is the Santa Pens 2020 giveaway. We've done this in years past where folks write in, you take a pen, you take your paper, you write your list of what you want for Christmas, pen related list, and you send it to us, Gold Spot Pens, 1230 Highway 34 in Aberdeen, New Jersey, 07747 is our zip code, and as long as you postmark it by December 14th, postmark it by December 1st, we will pick the winner on December 14th. However, slight twist this year is that not only will we accept one winner who will write in, we will also look for a winner that puts a pen of their choosing on their wish list on goldspot.com. So on goldspot.com we have a wish list feature that allows you to put in your account pens that you have on your wish list. And what we will do is that we will go through all the wish lists, we'll randomly pick one user in our website, and then we'll go through the wish list and pick a pen that's on their wish list and then send it to them as a giveaway, or Santa will send it to them as a giveaway. So that's our Santa Pens 2020 giveaway. That starts tomorrow, so you could write in or you could add stuff to your goldspot.com wish list. And best of luck to everybody there. So I appreciate you guys tuning in for this special Fountain Pen Day 2020 live presentation. Thank you, Chris and Kieran, for doing some awesome videoing and getting through all the technical difficulties at first. I'm glad that we were able to straighten that out, and appreciate you guys all for tuning in. And I hope that you guys have a great Fountain Pen Day weekend. If you have any questions about anything, always feel free to put them in the comments, and send me an email if you'd like at tom@goldspot.com. And as always, stay inky, my friends. Take care.
Stephanie A, really quick before we go,
Okay.
the code one more time.
Oh, the code. The discount code, FPDAY. So F is in Frank, P is in Paul. F is in Frank, P is in Paul, D is in David, A is in Apple, Y is in yellow. That'll get you 10% off the clearance section at Gold Spot. This weekend only.
Okay.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.